The neural interface wasn't supposed to activate. Tiana had checked the settings 3 times before the diplomatic meeting, ensuring her telepathic dampeners were at maximum strength. The last thing she needed was another incident like the one on Proxima Station, where she'd accidentally broadcasted her anxiety across an entire conference room of Vrelian ambassadors. But Maurice had always been different. The human sat across from her in the observation deck of the distant star, his weathered hands folded calmly on the table between them. 5 years they'd worked together as liaisons between the Galactic Consortium and the scattered human colonies, and in all that time, Tiana had never once sensed a flicker of thought from him. Humans were supposed to be telepathically null biological blanks in the mental landscape of the galaxy. It was one of the reasons the other species found them so unsettling. "The Crush delegation arrives in 2 hours, Maurice said, his gravelly voice breaking the comfortable silence. "You should rest before then. They'll try to probe your defenses." Tiana nodded, reaching up to adjust her neural dampener. Her fingers found the small device behind her ear, and her heart sank. The connector had come loose, probably during the turbulence they'd hit entering the system. The moment she touched it, trying to reseat the connection, the dampener shorted out completely, and Morris's mind opened before her like a supernova. Tiana gasped, her 4-fingered hands gripping the edge of the table. The telepathic feedback wasn't like reading another Zephyrin or even a Vrelian. Morris's thoughts came in layers, complex, contradictory, vast in a way she'd never experienced. Images and memories flooded through her consciousness before she could slam her natural barriers back into place. But what she saw in those few seconds changed everything. Station Gamma 7. 3 years ago, Tiana walking toward the airlock, unaware of the Corthan assassin in the shadows. Morris's hand moving to his sidearm, the decision made in microseconds. The blast, the body, the way he'd disposed of the evidence before she'd even turned around. The trade negotiations on Helion Prime. The poison drink meant for her that Maurice had accidentally knocked over. His calm smile as he'd ordered her another, all while tracking the server who'd delivered it with eyes that promised retribution. Last month, the encrypted message he'd intercepted. A bounty, her name, coordinates. His response, a series of anonymous warnings sent to every hunter within 3 sectors, each one detailed enough to make it clear that anyone who touched her would face something worse than death. 12 memories, 24 more, each one a moment where Maurice had stood between her and danger she'd never known existed, each one executed with such precision that she'd never suspected a thing. "Tiana." Morris's voice cut through the cascade of images. His expression hadn't changed, but there was something new in his eyes. Awareness. "Your dampener's out." She managed to nod, her barriers finally slamming back into place. The connection severed, leaving her gasping in her chair. "I saw Maurice. I know." He stood slowly, moving to the viewport. The stars streaked past in bands of light as the ship maintained its course. "How much?" "Enough." Tiana's voice trembled. "The Corthan on Station Gamma, the poison on Helion, the bounty hunters." "Maurice, why didn't you tell me?" He was quiet for a long moment, his reflection ghostly in the transparent aluminum. When he spoke, his words were measured, careful. "Because you needed to focus on the mission. Because fear changes people, makes them cautious when they need to be bold. Because..." He turned to face her, and for the first time in 5 years, she saw something vulnerable in his expression. "Because protecting you is what I do. It's what humans do. What humans do." Tiana stood, her legs unsteady. "Maurice, I'm your superior officer. I'm a trained diplomat with the full authority of the consortium. I don't need, with respect." "Tiana." "Yes, you do." His voice was gentle but firm. "You're brilliant at what you do. You've brokered peace between species that have been at war for centuries. You see connections and possibilities that others miss. But you're not a soldier. You're not trained to see threats in shadows or read the micro-expressions of an assassin. That's not a weakness, it's just a different skill set." He moved closer, his human eyes so strange without the reflective quality of Zephyrin eyes meeting hers steadily. "My people, we're good at violence. Disturbingly good. It's our evolutionary legacy. The thing that helped us claw our way up from savannah predators to starfarers. But we're also fiercely protective of those we care about. It's instinctive, primal. We don't need thanks for it. We don't even need acknowledgement. Tiana felt her throat tighten. In Zephyran culture, such dedication was reserved for blood relatives or bonded mates. The idea that someone would risk their life repeatedly, without expectation of recognition or reward, was almost incomprehensible. How many times? She asked quietly. Morris's smile was sad. Does it matter? It matters to me. He considered this, then moved back to the table and pulled up a holographic display. A list appeared: dates, locations, threat assessments. Tiana's eyes widened as she scrolled through it. 17 separate incidents, each one logged with clinical precision. Most she'd never known about. A few she remembered as lucky escapes or close calls. The consortium knows humans are useful for security, Morris said. It's why they pair us with high-value diplomats. What they don't understand is that it's not just a job for us. When we decide someone is worth protecting, we don't do it halfway. We commit absolutely. Tiana looked up at him. This human who'd been a constant presence in her life for 5 years. She'd thought she knew him, reliable Morris, steady Morris, always there with tactical advice or dry observation. She'd had no idea she was walking beside a guardian who'd made her safety his singular purpose. I'm not telepathically null, am I? Morris asked suddenly. Not completely. Tiana shook her head. No, you're different. Your mind is shielded, but not empty. It's like you've learned to build walls without any telepathic ability of your own. How? Focus, he said simply. Intent. My grandfather was a meditation master back on Earth. He taught me that the mind is stronger than people think, that you can build fortresses in your thoughts if you understand their architecture. His expression turned wry. Useful skill when you're working alongside telepaths and trying to keep secrets. To protect me, Tiana said softly. To protect you, he confirmed. The ship chimed 1 hour until the crushed delegation arrived. Tiana took a breath, composing herself. She was a professional, a senior diplomat of the consortium. She had a job to do, but first, she crossed the space between them and did something very un-Zephyran. She placed her hand on Morris's shoulder, a human gesture she'd seen countless times, but never fully understood until now. Thank you, she said, for all of it, for every time. Morris's hand covered hers briefly. That's what Pac does, he said quietly. And make no mistake, Tiana, your Pac. As she headed to her quarters to prepare for the negotiations, Tiana's mind was already working through the implications of what she'd learned. The consortium thought they understood humans, thought they'd cataloged their usefulness. But this fierce, unwavering loyalty, this willingness to stand in harm's way without recognition, this was something else entirely. Perhaps humanity's greatest strength wasn't their capacity for violence at all. Perhaps it was their capacity for devotion, and perhaps, Tiana thought as she reset her neural dampener, she'd been protected all along by something far more powerful than any weapon. A human who'd decided she was worth protecting. The distant star sailed on through the cosmos, carrying its precious cargo of diplomats and dreams, while in its corridors walked guardians who asked for nothing but the chance to serve those they deemed worthy. Humanity, indeed.